Well, hello everybody. Dr. Ricky T here. Hang on here. I'm just going to go over live in Instagram as well. Go on. Little tech. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Wednesday, April 16th. And I'm just going to make sure that I'm live here, that it's working. I was having lots of techie stuff this morning, so I use the software that tries to get to many platforms all at the same time. So I'm very late today. Usually this happens about 8:30 on the West Coast. It's now 8:45 on the West Coast AM. No matter. Games to stay committed, what you say you're going to do versus having it go perfectly every single time. So find out here if this is working. Okay, so let me jump in here. Actually, let's take a big deep breath. If you're watching this live, let me actually hang on here. I got to handle a couple things. If you're watching me live, if you're watching this later, just take a big deep breath. I know there's a lot that is happening. We all know there's a lot happening. We could go down the list. I'm not going to go down the list. It's impacting us internally. It's impacting us externally. It's impacting us globally. It's impacting us with friends and family. It's right, all the different choices that are being made and all the different things that are happening. And yeah, this is not news. I don't want to go down the list of the news. What I do want to speak to is on this Wednesday morning, really briefly, is I was reminded from one of my clients in our year-long program called Produce You. He is, I gave him the homework assignment of reading The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. Debbie Ford since passed on from this earthly plane, but she is certainly a voice of the concept of the inner life and the inner feelings that we have, right? And they must be talked about, they must be expressed, they must be looked at. In other terminology, some of you know I hang out and work with and have been a big fan of Carl Jung and Jungian therapy, and studied that work, and have been with a mentor in that territory now for about 9 years. So another way to say all this is the shadow work, the shadow side of the human spirit, right? And simply, it's not a major complicated concept. However, we all need safe spaces and safe containers to share all that's going on. Not necessarily the logistics of it, but the logistics of life, the circumstances of life are activating and animating the internal, right, voices in our head, the feelings experiencing. And we all need spaces and places to do that. Again, this is not new news to you. I think that's why we all need, we need a therapist, we need a counselor, we need a person to chat with. Because unexpressed emotions, as we all know, what they do, they create a state of somewhat of a recession energy in us and a depression energy in us. And this book, if you're in the space like many of you are who follow me, of putting your work into the world, you're a coach, you're a trainer, you're a speaker, you're an author, you're in the personal growth, personal development, spiritual development business, if you will. We're, those of us that do this type of work, we're holding a lot. We're not there to fix. We're there to hold. When we hold sort of the space of other things and other people, like for an example, we just did a 3-day, very successful high-end leadership development retreat here in Palm Springs for our clients from around the world. They came in for 3 days. We did this very cool thing. I went into it too much, but we did a big project, and we debriefed it and used it as the activity became a learning container for understanding one's energies, understanding one's beliefs, understanding one's impact. We had an experiential event to uncork and reveal, right, all the understanding of oneself in terms of one's work in the world. Inside of that, of course, what keeps happening is all these emotions are coming up, right? And as I take a big deep breath, the emotions that we carry, we want to be careful that they don't carry us, and need a space and they need a place. Sometimes, by the way, we go for walks and we can have a conversation with ourselves. Sometimes we need to call somebody. Sometimes we need to tell our partners. Right? But we need safe spaces to do this, and everybody does. And in our busy work lives, it feels awkward to kind of go, stop the work life and go, I need to talk about something, or I need to stop the activity at hand. That's about emotional intelligence, to be able to park it and, put it aside for now and then get back to it. But the key part of that sentence is you want to get back to it. You don't want to just, I'll get to that later, that feeling or whatever, and then it doesn't get processed, doesn't get talked about. And boy, this could certainly turn into a big long thing about therapy, and I don't want to go down that path. I just want to speak with it's therapeutic to share. And again, recommend Debbie Ford's book highly, because she actually asks, in the second chapter, there's some great questions that I want to offer to all of you, to kind of activate or animate or bring forth the shadow side of ourselves, right? And by the way, I really want you to hear this from a context of this is actually relieving and supportive. It's, not a downer to look into the shadow self. It's actually revealing and healing when you look into the shadow self, right? Since I'm just asking you to think about them today, put them into your week, right? Question number 1. There's 8 simple questions here, by the way. What am I most afraid of? What am I most afraid of? Let yourself ponder that. And there's many, many layers to that. Usually there's something external, and then if you process it even more, there's going to be something internal. I'm afraid it's, I don't have the power and the ability to generate what I want, or whatever it is, right? Or something that gets really, really reveals the inner life that sometimes I can experience, right? Question number 2. What aspects of my life need transforming? What aspects of my life need transforming? Great coaching question, right? Just ponder that. Just, write these down right now, by the way. Just go off and ponder them, think about them, journal them. I don't know about you, but there's always an aspect of my life that needs transforming. Always, always, always. Notice the language. It's not what is an aspect of my life that needs fixing. What is an aspect of my life that needs transforming? I need to transforming from the way of being in the world, not just the stuff, not just the external, right? Number 3, this is a great question about the book specifically. It says, what do I want to accomplish by reading this book? What do I want to accomplish by reading this book? By the way, I realize my camera's in the wrong place. Let me fix that. Okay. So what do I want to accomplish by reading this book? Now, I'm going to translate that a little bit in this context. What do I want to accomplish from a workshop I go to? What do I want to accomplish from an event I go to? What's the intention, right, that you want from something? Be intentional, right? Number 4, again, uncorking a little bit of the inner life. And by the way, these do not need to go public. This is a journal thing. This is an internal conversation or an internal journaling moment. What am I most afraid of that someone else will find out about me? What am I most afraid of that someone will find out about me? Just notice. Again, it's kind of letting it come up, right? And because again, once you reveal it to yourself, then it starts to heal itself. Number 5, what am I most afraid of in finding out about myself? What am I most afraid of in finding out about myself? Right? These are very much shadow questions, right? Just you can feel them. Number 6, this one can certainly be triggering. What is the biggest lie I've ever told myself? Just notice, what is the biggest lie I've ever told myself? That's usually about a being. Like, here's an example. Like you tell yourself, I don't have what it takes. That's a lie, right? That's a lie. So really look into that place of, Number 7, what's the biggest lie I've told someone else? Now it's about external. What have I told somebody that's right? Just notice it. Probably some forgiveness around that. But again, be aware of what are you feeling as you think about that. Number 8, I love this question. What could stop me from doing the work necessary to transform my life? What could stop me from doing the work necessary to transform my life? Big existential question, right? So this is in chapter 2 of The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. Again, I don't mean to do a big book review here, but I for those of us that do this type of work, supporting people to the next level of their work. I mean, I'm a guy who wrote a book called Play Your Bigger Game. I want to help people to play a bigger game, right? And they're capable of it, and they have the capacity to create it, and they know they can do it, and they go for it. And there's this shadow side to that, and it has to be looked at, because if you don't look at the shadow, the light doesn't show up as much. Now, I'm not going to go into the rest of this book. I recommend it highly. But with that said, kind of the shadow in the shadow space a little bit. I'm doing a call tomorrow, and Jocelyn on my team, our team, is going to drop it into all the right places where you can find it in the comments on all the different platforms. And I'm doing a call tomorrow. I'm going to get the timing right here for a second. It's a group call. It's a free call. By the way, I do love doing calls to my community and to my world. And as soon as my calendar opened, I'll remember the timing. It is tomorrow it's Thursday, April 17th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. That's the details. And the title of this call is How to Handle Difficult Participants with Confidence. I'm going to sort of open up that can of worms about being a facilitator, even being in a room, even being on a Zoom call when people are on camera. Like, how do you dance with that? What do you do? And I'll offer you this perspective right out of the gate. There's no such thing as a difficult participant. In our minds, they feel difficult, but that's the opening conversation. What we're going to have is there's no such thing as a difficult participant. Every participant is a gift in your room. So I'm going to uncork that and talk about that. There's this energy that we all sometimes are like, I wish that participant would like not do that, or why do they keep asking these weird questions, whatever. There's no such thing as a difficult participant. If they're there, they are a gift for you, and they are an opportunity for you. So we're going to talk about that right out of the gate. So it's a registration call. You know how it all works these days. You register, it's a free call, you'll get a Zoom link, yada, yada, yada. That's tomorrow, April 17th, right, at 10 a.m. And the link to the shadow work that's one's inner work. The more you accept more, okay, this is a very cool concept. The more you accept more aspects of yourself, meaning the shadow side, the dark side, the light side, the more you be with all of yourself, and dare I say you are in love with all aspects of yourself, the more you will be in love with all aspects of other people. And so the energy that you'll be giving off, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow, with other people on your calls, is they're a gift, and you actually can be with all of them instead of having an opinion that they shouldn't be like that. Why don't they behave differently? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to get really specific and granular with that. I think, by the way, there's both a I don't want to say there's like tips to that, but we're going to go through some tips I have around that with what to do and language, and then we're also going to talk about it from a psychology context. Because if I have a perspective that somebody is difficult, that's about me. That's not about them. So we're going to talk about that. So tomorrow, April 17th, be there. I think we have about 30 people registered. which then leads me to the second thing that's going on in my life. You guys know I do a lot of cool work in the world, in the lane of being in front of people, working with people, one-on-one, one-on-some, workshops, Zoom calls, events, speaking opportunities. One of my most favorite things to help people with is to how to be more effective in front of people. And again, one-on-one, one-on-some, one-on-many, small group, big group, right? So as the context, there is a 2-day event that I'm doing. It's called the Performance Lab. And I picked the word performance on purpose. If you've been around my world for the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about it. It can really trigger like, I don't want to do a performance. So it's when you're your, I'm going to use some jargon that we all know. When you're your authentic self, there's no performing, but there is actually engaging and bringing your full self to the table, and that is engaging and enlivening, and people respond to that, right? So the hardest part to be with or to say in this conversation is, we are performing. I went to see a play the other night. There's a performance. Right now I'm in front of a camera talking to you. So there's this, we're going to uncork the word performance, but there is a, are you on purpose? Do you have intention? What's the energy you're giving off? Are you engaging by looking into the camera? Are you in your body? Are you connected? That has an element of impact on other people. So we're going to uncork all of that, talk a lot about that, and really in the lane, and this is a little metaphysical and quantum. I've been studying the quantum world for a while now, quantum physics. This is about creating an energy that people are then drawn to you, right? They're like, okay, what's going on over there, right? And that is about a performance. That is about a performance. Now, again, I want to make sure I make this distinction. Performance can have a quality of like, it's not my authentic self. That's not what I mean. Okay, you can set that down, right? So, all right, everybody, happy Wednesday. Thanks for looking into the shadow stuff for yourself for this week a little bit. I recommend this book highly. It's a go-to book for me probably once a year. Debbie Ford. It's a great interview with Oprah that she did many, many years ago before she passed away. She passed away from cancer. Sad to say. And I'll just leave you with the title of chapter 3, which I love. It's very quantum physics, very metaphysics. The name of the chapter is The World is Within Us. The world is within us. And the opening sentence is, we are not in the world is within us. And she says, the first time I heard this, I was puzzled. How can the world be within me? And then she goes on to explain it. This is based on that great Rumi quote. Oh my God, I'm going to get it. I hope I get it right. The ocean, the entire ocean lives in the drop of the ocean, and the drop lives in the ocean at the same time. That concept that the entire ocean, all the energies and all the molecules of the ocean live inside one drop, and of course one drop lives inside the entire ocean. So that's the same concept, using nature as the metaphor. But Debbie Ford goes into that as well. Boy, can you tell I just want to do a whole class on quantum physics and all the understanding of how we really generate, how we really create. And just so you know, we're gonna do some of that in the performance lab. I'm gonna bring together quantum physics, spirituality, psychology, and your performance ability. We're gonna all roll that together because I believe they're all a part of the game of having you be seen and heard and quote unquote wanted or purchased, or getting more keynotes, or getting more people to follow you and be drawn to your good work, because that's my bigger game, is to have more people be drawn to your good work. So, okay, everybody, let's take a big deep breath as we end this Wednesday morning thing that I do. Here's what I know for you. If you're still watching or you're watching later, here's what I know for you. You have a purpose on this planet. You're here in this physical being to have a positive impact with your life. And if you're listening to me and been a follower of me and know of my work in the world, you know that to be true. And what I know for you is that's a thing to live into, not a thing to live up to. Live into your purpose. Make stuff up. Try workshops. Write a book. Do a retreat. Live into it. But let go of having to live up to it. You don't have to live up to your purpose. You have to live into your purpose. So, more to come, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Namaste to you, your world, your families, your lives, your organizations, your teams. It is absolutely a fascinating time of what do you want to create from all that's going on, right? Rather than what do I want to try to control. Now I'm into one more topic. I'll just go there. Stop trying to control. However, do lean into create. What do I want to create from what's going on rather than what do I want to try to control with what's going on? So big distinction. All right, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I'm really signing off now. Be well, everybody. Give me a minute while I push some buttons here on the system here. There we go. Let me go here. And let me go over here. Hang on here. There we go. Instagram. Let me go on Instagram and live video. Okay. Bye, everybody.